Good morning or afternoon or middle of the night or whenever you're watching this. Anyways, today we're going to talk about how to determine if the sources that you're finding on the internet are valuable sources or if they're kind of just a piece of junk. When you're doing research for any purpose, actually, you want to make sure that the sources that you are finding are valuable, that they're not just put out there by some random Joe Schmo who has a hobby in, I don't know, coin collecting, and he's really a novice and doesn't know much about it, and so all of it, or the majority of it, tends to be opinion rather than fact. Instead, you want to make sure that you're getting fact-based information. So let's start. I'm going to do this topic of acupuncture. It's something that's always intrigued me. So I'm going to just type acupuncture into Google. Now, 90% of the time, if not more, the very first thing you're going to find is, of course, Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not a valuable source because anybody can add on to Wikipedia. So I could actually go in right now and put into Wikipedia that acupuncture cures all medical ailments. Well, that's not true. So what is the value of Wikipedia? Wikipedia is actually a great source to just kind of get an idea about a topic. So I have mentioned to you in class, when you're starting out and you're trying to narrow down what element of a topic you want to do, go to Wikipedia. So you can see here, I mean, I've got the history, the theory behind it, the clinical practice, effectiveness, safety, reception, etc., etc. Okay, so I would actually probably want to focus my energy more on my research, more on effectiveness than anything else. But we're not going to use Wikipedia for that, so let's actually scroll back to our findings. Okay, so when I go through here, I have a lot of .com sites, and .com can be very valuable. It really can be. But it's not always the most valuable of sources. Let's just first take a look at this www.acupuncture.com site. Okay, so this definitely looks professional, but I want to see who is it serviced by. Okay, so I'm going to go down by it's copyrighted, acupuncturist directory and acupuncture school referral services provided by AcuFinder. I mean, it looks like a pretty legitimate site. Something that would be a telltale is if everything was about like try our test or link here to buy our medication or something like that, because now it's sounds really sales pitchy and less research based. So if I go through this, I mean, here you've got all these different conditions. I can find practitioners. I can learn about herbiology. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff in here. So this definitely looks like a valuable source. Now, going back, I want to do acupuncture edu sites. Okay, meaning I want specifically sites that end in edu. So university research. Okay, so now I'm getting to sites that end in edu. All sites that end in edu are educational sites. It's reserved specifically for universities. And so if I look at, right here, I've got Rochester, University of Rochester Medical Center. Obviously there's a video on it, information there. I can scroll down, Naser Acupuncture Research at Boston University. That's a great university. The University of Chicago Medicine. So this is going to be giving me really reliable information because it is founded in a scholarly environment, and it is put up by really the scholars of the subject. So it's a great thing to go to. Now, the other types of sites that you may come across are .org sites. Okay, .org sites means it's founded by an organization. this is both good and it can be bad, okay? Because the organization doesn't, all it has to be is an organization. It doesn't actually have to meet criteria. I think it needs to be a nonprofit, pretty much is to get the .org. I'm not entirely sure about that. Here we've got a mayoclinic.org. Okay, well, it's Mayo Clinic. This is going to be a valuable source to go to because of it's, written by the Mayo Clinic staff. So that would definitely be valuable. But, sometimes you end up with .orgs that are swayed one way or the other. Maybe they are anti-acupuncture and anti-Eastern medicine, and so it's going to talk about why it would be horrible for you. Or you might get it skewed the other way, where it's like Eastern medicine is the be all and end all. If you try Western medicine, you're just poisoning your body and things like that. So you've got to find that right balance, and you want to make sure you know who is running this particular site. So here, the International Veterinary Acupuncture Society. Okay, this is veterinarian acupuncture. So I'm looking at this. Okay, all right. They're having a conference in Florence, Italy. That sounds pretty, serious stuff there. It's the 40th annual Congress, so this tells me this is a pretty reliable source right there. Acupuncturists Without Borders. Okay, this is acupuncturists who travel around the world. And right here we're getting into the buy our stuff. This is telling me that, I might want to take this stuff with a grain of salt. I might want to verify this information elsewhere with other sources. So while you may find really good information on a site like this, like I said, you want to verify it. You want to validate it by finding that information on multiple sources instead of just a single source. The last type of source that's out there is .gov. And these are ones that are run by the government, okay? So we have the National Cancer Institute. So this is going to be a reliable source because of the information and that it's a .gov site. But, again, you have to determine, is this information relevant to what you're researching? Where if I'm researching the effectiveness of acupuncture, this is kind of given some information. There's strong evidence from clinical trials that acupuncture relieves nausea and vomiting caused by chemotherapy. So, I've got some good information in here. But again, I do want to make sure that I have substance to the research, that it's not just, individual facts like I just found there. Here, if we look at this one, list of clinical trials. So I can click on this link and I've got nothing. Okay, so there's no sources there. One other thing I want to show you is Google Scholar. So I don't know how many of you are aware of the fact that Google has other ways of searching for research, and one of them is called Google Scholar. It's scholar.google.com. And if I go to Google Scholar and I type in acupuncture, yes, I meant for it to be spelled correctly, I am going to get actual journal articles and research and dissertations, and this is all going to be valid sources. Now, the downside to Google Scholar is, a lot of these are written for the medical field for my topic, or they're written for academia, and so sometimes they can be a little bit more difficult to read through. I'm gonna just click on this one, a review of the evidence. Sometimes you get the entire article, other times you're just getting it's called an abstract, so like a synopsis of what the article is going to be about. There are times where you will have to pay for the document. Don't pay for the document for these for our project, but sometimes you can get them for free. So I just wanted to show you that because those are definitely valuable sources. All right, so have fun going and finding useful, reliable sources.